Yeah, I suppose, Cork came with a big charge in the second half, and that was to be expected. I suppose really, we'd kind of been very solid in the first half and probably in control for long periods of the first half, but they were going to come with their proper patch, and they really upped their intensity levels there in the first 15 minutes of the second half, and we didn't really respond at that particular time. We found it difficult to get our hands on the ball. We misplaced a few hand passes, and our touch just wasn't on the money. We just dropped off ourselves. So challenge came obviously, and they took the lead, and we rolled the dice with a few boys coming off the bench then, and got a bit fresh legs in there and fresh minds in there. I suppose we hadn't had a game in 3 weeks, and we probably trained quite hard during that period. So fellas just weren't maybe as fresh as maybe they might have liked. So and the lads made a big impact coming off the bench. So I was particularly pleased with that aspect of the game today. No, it was good. And we often get criticised for it, but it's only one day. I don't know why I tell you it wasn't finished, to be honest, but it was pretty good today now, I think, overall. Would have liked to have created a goal scoring chance or two, but it just didn't quite happen that way today. We've got him in every game this year to date, so that's something we need to go back and maybe re-emphasise again now in the weeks ahead. But no, listen, it was a good workout. Great to get a game in here before the championship match in May, and I think hopefully there won't be any more issues with postponements of fixtures and stuff, that we can get a clear run now and push on through the rest of the competition. Let's be honest about it, the tempo of the game and the intensity of the game was probably only at a 6. There's a lot of room for both sides in terms of raising the decibel level in terms of intensity. When we come back here in May, I can guarantee you when there's 40,000 odd outside there, it'll be a different ball game in terms of intensity levels for both sides. But it didn't help the game today. It was very stop-starty. There is obviously a clear emphasis on the striking action and the hand pass. That's one thing that came from both fixtures, both last night and tonight or today, which is obviously a challenge to us in the coaching capacity to try and re-emphasise the need for that. I can't say whether any of them were or weren't throw balls. I would have to look back at them again, but it doesn't help the game when it's been blowed as frequently as it is for that particular skill. At the end of the day, the hand pass is there to allow the player to move the ball on in circumstances where they can't use the hurley, and for what reason? To keep the game flowing. And now that fellas are hand passing the ball off, it's very, very hard to tell whether a player is making a clear striking action with the ball or not. You know what I mean? And it's probably the technique that the modern player uses. Right across the country, I think in all county teams, they're all using a far more fluent movement. So it is challenging to referee that aspect of the game. But at the same time, I think sometimes you need to err on the side of caution. If a player, for example, hasn't anybody actually making physical contact with him, why would he not? He has the time to make a clear striking action on it. So, a player would only throw the ball if he was in a situation where he was under severe pressure and needed to throw the ball because he couldn't get a striking action on it. That's the only reason a player would do that. But listen, I don't want to get bogged down in that aspect of it either. At the same time, we would all like to see obviously less frees in the game. There's probably two challenges there. One for us on the coaching capacity to try and look at the technical aspects of the game from a coaching perspective and re-emphasise the necessity for the striking action. And then maybe on the other side, then maybe hopefully the officials will, maybe are on the side of caution at times. It's almost like the offside rule. If it's equal, let it roll. Especially for players on his own, he's not throwing the ball deliberately in a situation like that.
John, are you happy with how they responded to the challenge when Cork came back?
Yeah, very happy with that. As I said, the lads coming off the bench made a big impact in that regard, because they brought freshness to it, and they brought great energy to it. Graham worked really hard, Tom Morrison worked really hard, Barry Nash worked really hard. They've really worked really hard. They all got on the ball, they all got their tackles in. Darren O'Connell came on, won his free, got out in front, won his ball, worked really hard as well. So very happy from that aspect of it, and we haven't won here in quite some time, so no harm to break that duck either. Not at all. We're quite happy with the games every week. It's just an awful pity that the weather gods aren't playing along with us. It's just been really bad the last couple of weeks, and it's not looking like it's going to get any better over the next 10 days either. Next weekend is looking very ropey as well. So it's just the time of the year it is, and sometimes you get a good run out of it, and sometimes you don't. We're quite happy playing week in, week out, and I'm sure every other player in the country is the same. But I don't think there's very much room for manoeuvring now at the moment. That's the only thing. Yeah, listen, we're just taking it one game at a time, Jerome, to be honest, and trying to maximise as much as we can out of each week along the way. And if the performance is good enough to get the result, well and good. And so far it has been, but that's not to say it will be always, So we've a lot of work to do. We know that, there's so many aspects of the game today that we wouldn't be happy with. Obviously conceding the 2 goals, we wouldn't be happy with. The fact that our intensity dropped off in the start of the second half, we wouldn't be happy with that either. So there's plenty for us to go away and work on now this week, and hopefully we'll get a little more fluency in the games coming over the coming weeks, and try and get those last couple of points that we need to qualify for the knockout stages. Oh yeah, we spoke about it at half time. He'd 8 from 8 at half time. And with Patrick, 80-90 yards is within range. He was incredible on the frees today. So we did speak about that at half time in terms of trying to keep the free count down, or try and reduce it at least as much as we possibly could. But it's difficult. It's difficult, especially when you have somebody like that in the field to minimise the effect that has. But they still got the 2 goals, and there were two scores that we'll have to go back and work on.